all competition until spring of 2021. The universities face financial pressure to compete as well as calls from some parents and even President Trump. Maryland head coach Michael Loskally celebrated Tuesday's decision to hold the season. I'm so happy for our players, he tweeted. Shortly after the announcement, in a press release, he said, our student athletes have stayed focused and prepared and are eager to return to competition. The school says that under guidance from the Prince George's County Health Department, they'll begin the season with no fans present. University of Maryland Athletic Director Damon Evans said he was thrilled for football to return. He said the health of athletes, coaches, and staff was a big priority, and that new medical protocols from the Big Ten puts us all in a strong position to resume competition. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan also weighed in, tweeting that he couldn't be more pleased with this decision. Playing football in the pandemic, however, has been rocky for some of the teams that have resumed competition. Leagues are playing their seasons, including the SEC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, and the Big 12. Louisiana State University football coach Ed Orgeron says most of his team, which plays in the SEC, has contracted the virus. So Virginia Tech, a member of the ACC, had to postpone a game against North Carolina State by 2 weeks because of a coronavirus cluster in the North Carolina State Athletics Department. This weekend, the conference also said it was postponing a game between Virginia Tech and the University of Virginia because of positive cases at Virginia Tech. The University of Maryland has its own issues with virus outbreaks among student athletes who have been allowed to train and hold practices. 13 teams, including the football team, recently resumed practice after the school temporarily halted all athletic activities within 46 athletes tested positive for the virus. University President Daryl Pines said the outbreak was linked to off-campus social gatherings. University of Maryland student newspaper, the Diamondback reports. It was the second time University of Maryland paused athletic training because of COVID-19 cases. In July, after 9 athletes and staff tested positive, the university paused the football team's summer workouts. Last week, University of Maryland reported 88 new cases of COVID-19 from tests. University administered plus another 37 cases self-reported to the university by individuals who were on or close to campus in the past 14 days. And finally, the Patriot League, which includes several D.C. area universities, has canceled fall sports. The Big Ten Conference said announcements about other fall sports, plus winter and spring athletics, will be coming soon. So yeah, getting the job done with the student athletes today. It's pretty not a bad thing for University of Maryland to resume sports, but stay down with that mask and listen. You gotta take care of yourself because more cases are just coming out about these athletes getting sick, and it's just crazy, just downright crazy. So I'm moving on here. So I'm going to talk about a former Maryland star. So during DJ Turner's time at Maryland, it always felt like he was always poised to break out. Well, it's finally happened, but in a different uniform and a few hundred miles from College Park. The former Maryland wide receiver exploded for career highs of 8 catches for 186 yards Saturday in the Panthers' 30-29 loss to North Carolina State. The 5'10" senior, having already graduated and thinking he'd have to stick around until the spring, and at the transfer portal in August, as the Big Ten announced it will postpone its season until the spring of 2021. Being born and raised in Prince George's County, it has always been a dream of mine to be able to stay home and play college football for the University of Maryland. I can honestly say that the people I have met and the experiences I have had over the last 4 years have shaped me into a better man, he wrote. After the decision that was made by the Big Ten to postpone the season, my family and I weighed my options to determine what the best course of action would be to put myself in the best situation during these tough times. After careful consideration, I had decided to enter my name into the transfer portal. Through 4 games, Turner is Pitt's leading receiver in terms of yardage with 201 yards. Number 24, Panthers 3-1, although will likely file the AP poll as an upset home loss. And this was a big decision for everybody in University of Maryland because he had to transfer out of Pitt to do it all, and I think that that's great. So the number 24 Panthers 3-1 though will likely file the AP poll after the upset home loss. The redshirt senior and former 4-star prospect at DeMatha entered the 2020 season as a preseason All Big Ten selection, according to Athlon magazine. He started the first three games of the 19 season and showed his explosiveness as a returner, averaging 35.7 yards per punt return, including a 40-yard punt return touchdown against Howard. But he was charged with a DUI on September 20th of last year and was suspended for the remainder of the season. In Turner's case, the Big Ten's indecision was Maryland's loss. Less than 3 weeks after he landed at Pitt, where he reunited with former Maryland wide receivers coach Chris Petty. The conference reversed its original decision and announced it would start its fall slate on October 24th. Well, young man, great job, and I hope you have a great time at Pitt. DJ Turner, we really, really appreciate you for your time in Maryland, and we appreciate your time in Maryland, and happy times will be with you in Pittsburgh. So congratulations, and continue to do what you're supposed to do in order to stay safe with COVID-19. And I'll be watching you on the big screen with sports. So moving on here. So American University is in unison with the Patriot League announced that cancellation of its fall sports season on Monday due to the ongoing challenges caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Thousands on winter and spring sports will be made at a later date. According to the Patriot League's press release, with training and practice opportunities for athletes, they've met it with the necessary health and safety precautions. According to each state's guidelines, athletes are also not allowed to travel for any sports in the fall. This decision to cancel the season comes less than a month after the Patriot League announced its plans to resume fall sports in September with new health and safety protocols. The Patriot League is now the second conference within the NCAA to cancel its fall season, following the Ivy League's cancellation of its season last week. For AU, this means its cross-country volleyball, field hockey, and soccer seasons will not be played this fall. When the spring sports season was canceled in March, the NCAA gave the option of an extra year of eligibility to spring sports athletes who had their seasons cut short midway through. It has now been announced how eligibility will work for the Patriot League's fall athletics. So the Ivy League announced its fall athletes will not use a season of eligibility, whether they enroll or not. The Patriot League also stated its desire to explore creative alternatives, providing future competitive experiences for our fall sports student athletes, including the possibility of conducting fall sport competition and championships in the second semester. So yeah, great job, American University, for not having fall sports. See, the local colleges aren't having fall sports. I think the universities are just having fall sports. American University is one of them that won't be having fall sports this year. They're going to wait until the spring to see what happens, and I think that's very smart of them and what they're doing. So moving on here. So the NFL. Wow. The NFL again strengthens mask rules. COVID-19 protocols amid outbreaks after several small outbreaks across the league, and the NFL is once again strengthening its COVID-19 protocols. So the NFL sent out new coronavirus safety protocols to teams on Tuesday following a league meeting, something it thinks will help curb the spread of the virus as the season continues. Updated mask rules protocols, one of the biggest changes has to do with mask usage, something some coaches have struggled with so far this season. The league strengthened its mask rules and prohibited the use by gaiter masks, masks with valves or vents, and face shields at team facilities. Surgical masks are preferred. Coaches, the league said in a memo, can still wear gaiter masks on the field during games. Face shields like Kansas City's coach Andy Reid likes to wear appear to now be off limits completely. Several coaches were fined after week 2 of the season for not wearing their masks correctly on their sidelines. And Las Vegas Raiders coach Jon Gruden seems to be the worst offender. I looked at that game Sunday and I was like, man, Jon Gruden, you got your mask on wrong, buddy. Just a side note there. The league handed out $1.75 million in fines in Week 2 and has since threatened to punish teams who violate safety protocols with the loss of draft picks or even game forfeiture. Among other new rules, teams are now required to have at least 5 buses to travel, and teams need to keep surveillance camera footage for at least 30 days in order for the league to ensure protocol compliance. Players and staff have to stay at least 10 feet apart now while eating at the team facilities, and groups of more than three people are prohibited from meeting outside of team activities for any reason. The new protocols come near what appears to be the end of the league's first coronavirus outbreak. The Tennessee Titans didn't play in week 4 due to a major outbreak, which saw 10 players and 10 staffers test positive. The New England Patriots and the Chiefs each had players land on COVID-19 as reserve list, which delayed their game by a single day. And the Vikings shut down their practice facility for several days after learning of the Titans outbreak just hours after their matchup. Though the NFL's new protocols won't curb the spread of the virus completely, that's nearly impossible to do outside of a trouble bubble environment. The stricter rules will certainly help teams be able to finish the season safely. And if they don't follow the new rules, the league has shown it's not afraid to crack down. Yes, cracking down is what you need to do. These NFL players and coaches know what they're supposed to do is right. They weren't born yesterday. If they were, God help them. But they weren't because they need to wear their masks. Masks are important today. And athletes got to wear masks. You might not want to, but you got to wear them in order to not get sick. So I'm gonna take a quick break here. When I get back, I want to finish the week off with the college sports report to talk about what happened in the WNBA finals, the NBA finals. I'm gonna give you an update on some MLB postseason action as well. So don't touch that dial. I'll be right back with the college sports report to finish the week up. You've been listening to the college sports report here on E Radio WMCR. Welcome back to the college sports report here on E Radio WMCR. So last night, wow, Brian Stewart caught fire. God, that girl's good. And Sue Bird and her Gord. So Brianna Stewart scored 26 points, and the Seattle Storm won their second WNBA championship in 3 seasons, sweeping the Las Vegas Aces with a 92-59 blowout. Whew. Wow, I've never seen that score in NBA history or WNBA history. That's got to be a blowout. Tuesday night. It's the fourth title in franchise history for the Storm, who also won in 4, 10, and 18. In 18, they beat the Washington Mystics. I have no idea who they played in over in 2010. Seattle had pretty much the same core group that won the 2018 championship back for this year, led by Stewart, Sue Bird, and Joel Lloyd. The Storm joined Minnesota and Houston as the only franchises to win 4 championships. Seattle has now won a record 11 games in a row in the WNBA Finals, dating to the team's first championship in 2004. Bird has been a part of all of them. The veteran guard who turns 40